I've been homeless for almost 2 years before I got into a group home recently. During those 2 years, I became homeless because of domestic violence. My ex had found me again after moving to Washington, and he made me lose my housing that I had in a room for rent situation. So I became homeless. Been homeless off and on, and then I started getting mental health issues due to the domestic violence and the abuse. So I had ended up in and out of hospitals and stuff, and couldn't keep permanent housing. I was in a place for 3 months before they mutually terminated my lease with me because of mental health reasons. I became suicidal, and they didn't want that for the other residents in the room for rent house, so they terminated my lease. Then I became homeless again, went from shelter to shelter, street to street, basically just sometimes going to shelter, sometimes living on the streets, kind of choosing where I wanted to go, depending on the resources and stuff and what was going on in my life and stuff. Sometimes it was easier to be at a shelter, sometimes it was easier to be alone and on the street by myself. So then I started getting involved with a share shelter at one point, and that helped me kind of rely on my mental health provider more, and they got me into a group home and stuff. But for those 2 years that I was homeless, I was back and forth between places, even went up to Bellingham for a little while, and then came back, still running from my ex. He still tries to find me occasionally and stuff, but it's been very helpful that I can done the real change and stuff, because that brings in income so that I can actually afford to stay at the group home and to have my own place eventually one day. Again, now that I've been more stable and stuff, getting the real change has really helped me with that, give me a job to do and, you know, responsibility and stuff. So now I'm going to be starting a new job at another place, which will help as well. So I'm going to eventually get my own place. I'm going to go back to work, get off of disability, and continue probably working with the Real Change for Their Advocacy program. Eventually starting a family, because I'm still pretty young, 31. And yeah, just having a great life. Just keep going forward from now on. Yeah. Don't reflect on the past. But being homeless has taught me a lot, though. It's taught me street smarts and just lots of adventures being homeless on the streets, learning what areas to stay away from, what areas are okay to be, what times to go to sleep, what times you need to be awake. Just a lot of information, where to go for meals, where not to go for meals, you know, what shelters are the best ones to go to, which ones to avoid. You know, it's taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of resources too, where to find clothing, where to store property, where to, you know, rely on the best showers and the easiest ways to take a shower, you know, time-wise and stuff, versus meals and just the different day centers to go to and stuff when the weather's bad, and the library. That's the number one place I think to hang out, is the library. Definitely found myself being homeless. It's given me a big opportunity to just explore my own self and just find new things about myself that I can manage to do, and different things that I love. Like, I write poetry now, and I do writings and just different things to help myself, and I like to, you know, color pictures and draw a little bit and paint, and it's just kind of, my creativity has come out of it, because when you're homeless you got to become creative. You got to learn, you know, what stuff you need with you and what stuff, you know, you don't need, and what stuff you can part with, and what you can do with certain things to manage and stuff. So you become very creative. Friends that I've met and I still have that are homeless and still on the streets, and we do get a lot of resources and exchange resources and help each other out. If somebody's having a bad day, we try and make them uplifted. It could be even something small, just handing them a bottle of water, or just something small to do, but it's definitely community out there. Having a place, it's kind of different because you are more isolated, you are more alone, you don't see everybody every day interacting and stuff. It becomes a different environment. It takes the time to adjust to apartment living. It really does, because it's a lot different than, the idea is great and stuff, but it's just when it actually happens, it's kind of a shock being housed again. Because you're so used to running around trying to get resources and doing things that it's kind of hard to rebound and realize you have everything under your roof now. You don't have to go get those resources. So what do I do with my time now? Yeah. That's the other problem, is what do I do with my time now? Is because you have all this extra time and stuff, but you are more lonely because you're not forced to be around a lot of people at once. We have upwards of 50 people. It's 2 people per room, and then there's 2 extended houses that you can live more independently. So there's about 50 people total that live in the building. They cook for us 3 times a day, so we don't cook for ourselves until we move on to the other house. It's a very supportive environment, and everybody's got mental health issues. It's still hard. There's a lot of issues. We get the ambulance there picking somebody up usually every week. Because somebody's having issues and stuff. But it's very supportive. The staff is really nice. If you're having a bad day, they understand. They'll help you out. They'll check on you more often. It's a very supportive community. Our roommates are nice. They understand, if we're going through issues, they'll give us space. It's very nice. There's activities that they do, art group. They do a reading group. They go out on activities for those people that aren't as mobile as others and stuff. So it's a very sweet community. There's a little courtyard that everybody kind of sits in and gathers in, and we all talk and stuff. And sometimes we go to outside groups together, different things. I got a few people into doing the real change, and a few of us go to a dual diagnosis group up at Harborview every week now. So we kind of help each other out still, and still have the little community going on, which helps me a lot. I think if I was in my own place, I wouldn't be succeeding as much right now. Well, I get over more of the PTSD and the other diagnosis I have and stuff, and manage them better. I don't think I could really survive in an apartment on my own without somebody else there, because of the fact that I'm so used to living with a lot of other people in shelters and different things, that I'm used to a lot of people being around. So being isolated by myself wouldn't be the best thing for me right now. There's a lot of people that really like it. For them, it's their family, it's their community. And that's what I found, even being homeless, is that is your family, that becomes your community and stuff, the people that you're around. So there's a few people that have stayed there for at least 5+ years, and they still plan on remaining there just because of the community aspect of it. It's the community, it's the family, it's having everything you need under one roof, and the support right there and everything. Because otherwise, everybody's pretty much one step away from being homeless there, because a lot of them, their families haven't taken care of them, or won't take care of them, or won't let them back home. So it's kind of, you end up there, and if you lose that, then you do end up back on the streets pretty much, because there's not a lot of housing out there for mental health and stuff. So it's definitely a place to keep and do our best at and stuff, because there's rules to follow any other place and stuff. So if we violate those, you can get kicked out, you can get in trouble and stuff.